In the past 4 years, there's been a rise in e-hailing companies with mobile apps that connects drivers with riders. Nigeria has experienced her own share of the fast growth from these hailing companies' service, both from local and international operators. Although the country is witnessing an exit of some of the local players and giving an indication that Nigerians are yet to fully embrace the e-hailing services, some other startups are trying to create models helping clients to get a driver for their cars, either on temporary or permanent basis. Well, to talk more about this is an entrepreneur and CEO of We Drive, Bolaji Akitoye, who's here with me in the studio. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So in a place like Nigeria, where the adoption level for e-hailing services appears to be low, what do you think that it has a chance to survive here in Nigeria?
Well, yes, I do. First of all, I don't think that it's as low as one might believe, because many people have adopted e-hailing services. And because of that high rate of adoption, there's been room created for niches such as mine, which is the e-driver hailing service. So if you look at it from the point of view of our customers, they've been demanding this kind of service for a while, where you can get a driver to drive you in the comfort of your own car, and that driver will be professionally trained, is experienced, and has been fully vetted by the company. So that takes away the stress and the uncertainty of where that driver is coming from.
Well, talking about the uncertainty of where the driver is coming from, let's talk about security now. How secure is this service? Because some have complained that, you can't guarantee who, is picking you up and what. So how secure is this?
All right, let me start by saying there's a big difference between an e-hailing, which is actually to get a taxi, and an e-driver. Now, with the e-driver, the company has stood in its stead and said that we have vetted and we have guaranteed these drivers. We have almost 7 different layers of security to ensure that the clients and their property, as well as the drivers, are safe. It starts with our recruitment process, and then it goes on to the technology that we're utilizing to ensure that the customers are safe. We use GPS technology, we use facial recognition technology, and all these things are embedded in our service, all to try and make the customer feel at ease.
But the drivers go through some form of training that sets them apart from the conventional means of transportation?
Yes. As we like to tell our drivers, there's a difference between the driver, a professional driver, and a chauffeur. At We Drive, we provide chauffeurs. These are drivers that have been trained, not just in the skills of driving, but they have been trained on the rules of the road. They have been trained on driving etiquette. They have been trained to drive defensively. And then the company itself has gone beyond that to verify these drivers down to their homes, their guarantors, and their former places of employment. So my company can guarantee the driver.
We'll get to your company, but we know that this kind of service, talking about the e-hailing app, is provided via technology, and technology is still seen as being at its infant stage in this part of the world. What do you think that is needed to be improved upon as this industry continues to grow?
Well, two major points of focus. One is the quality of data. You see, the technology that we're basing everything on is on our data networks. And right now, the quality is not at the same standard as in more developed climes. Then the harmonization and centralization of identity information. We don't have that. So you have different pockets of identity information, like with the banks you have BVN, with the GSM operators you have all the information they've collected, but there's no central repository. So it's very difficult for you to be able to identify somebody easily.
So where do you see this service in the next 5 years in Nigeria?
Well, I see that in the next 5 years, the e-service will be accounting for more than 40% of the transport industry in the next 5 years. If you look at it, in 2016, the number of mobile phones that we were using was about 15.5 million, and that has been projected to get to 23 million by 2019. And the quality of the data, if you compare it to 2 or 3 years ago, I mean, there's a huge difference, and it can only get better. So when you bring all these things together, as well as an improvement in our data collection, I think there's a huge market.
The CEO of We Drive, Mr. Bolaji Akitoye, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
A Ugandan artist, Rodney Kigundu, is using his talent to help reduce the number of children living on the streets of Kampala. The artist and his friends offer free art classes to disadvantaged communities, teaching students how to paint and do beadwork to help them fend for themselves. Rodney Kigundu works with organizations that rehabilitate street children in Kampala to help them learn new skills and express themselves through art.
That's your nose. That's your eye.
Students from disadvantaged backgrounds attend the classes every evening held in an informal school where they learn printing, sketching and other basic art skills. Kigundu and his former classmates formed the art club last year, volunteering their teaching services at various centers in the capital. The trained artists buy paints, crayons and materials needed for with money made from selling their own artwork.
I like pictures because I hope that when I paint beautiful ones, people will appreciate and buy them, and I'll have enough money to keep me in school and buy some clothes, food and a few other things. That is why I want to paint beautiful pictures so that people buy them.
All of us, the four founders, were artists at university and we were all the same age, so we came together and we saw the urge to give back to community, and we sat down and discussed on what we could focus on basically. And we saw these kids on the streets who used to beg, and right now they still beg, asking for handouts, and yet we could give them something that could impact their lives and also make their lives better and make them earn a living out of it.
Uganda has about 13,000 street children, according to the Kampala Capital City Authority. Uganda is one of the poorest countries in the world, with 2014 government figures showing nearly 20% of the 38 million population lives in poverty. UNICEF data shows 24% of Ugandan children under 5 live in extreme poverty. The children are often in danger of being trafficked, forced into child labor, or even being molested while on the streets as they find themselves trapped in a life of begging for alms. The artists also teach women in townships dressmaking skills and beadwork to help them find a source of income and better support their families.
I am happy to have learned some skills. I'd like to share this knowledge with my children. I will teach them how to sew and some business skills as I have been taught, so that they don't remain idle. I want my children to have skills that can earn them some money tomorrow. I do not want life to be difficult for them in the future, whether or not I am here.
Kigundu says he wants to discourage his students from begging and instead show them that they can turn into budding artists and traders and use their talents to build a future.
The plan is to see the number of street children reduced from 13,000 to 0. And with this, I want to reach out to more and more street children within Kampala and even outside Kampala, and reach out to them, teach them the skill of painting, teach them the skill of making crafts, jewelry, all the art skills I have.
The artists also want to offer the children a safe place to spend time, learn social skills, and make new friends. And that's our program today. Thank you for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.